This is a detail that wasn't in the original image, but it had sort of the intention of doing the feathers of a different color. This is embarrassing, but well, it was 2007. Programming car keys as we speak. Wow, it sounds Mission Impossible-ish. Let's take that brown again. We'll make the most out of this brown. I haven't painted yet the little thing here. These kind of things might be easier to fix once the final image is completed. All of these little outside of the line. But let's try to make it as clean as we can, which is one of the things, or one of the reasons why anime looks so slick. It's because it has very thin lines, all of them dynamic, and for the most part, most of the objects and most of the things, oops, have a clean feeling and have a clean lines, thin lines, to make movement and to suggest movement easier. After all, that's what anime has to be, manga in motion, according to what mangakas said. Anime ideally, anime characters ideally should be sort of inviting the audience's minds to imagine them in movement. I have used a couple of thick lines here because, well, it's my style mostly, but I'm sticking to the basic anime principles. Might have to rework a couple of things later, but doesn't matter. The objective is getting an anime style image should be something faster. It shouldn't take you more than, once you have the line art, the clean line art, it shouldn't take you more than 45 to 1 hour tops. But it turns out it's fun to draw and to experiment and to try out a couple of things and not to be pursued by the clock or to be urged to get a particular result on a particular amount of time. That is one of the reasons why I think Instagram ruined the arts, because originally the artists uploaded their images in a printable size, usually A4, 21 centimeters by 29.7 centimeters. What happened? Suddenly Instagram became a place to promote art, and people started optimizing to make images look good on social media and on Instagram. And as time went by and people posted more and things were printed less, most people adopted the Instagram. No, this is too dark. Most people adopted the Instagram ratio and base the most of his and her ideas, most of their ideas are based on the Instagram ratio, which is not. If I upload this image, which is ready to print in A4 size, I would lose a lot, or I will have to crop it in some way or the other. That automatically ruins all the balance and rhythm and visual guidance, which is the communication where the artist has with the audience. And the same is happening now. People is reading even less and less as time goes by, and now something called I think it's micro tales. It's micro relato in Spanish, which is basically, okay, let's see which thing I could write and I could think myself I could quickly use to improve or to have more likes. And then people create these 2-paragraph stories, and they think they are so brilliant and they need so much effort, and it's something so hard to master. And I get a laugh of all that because I mean, let's be real, it's not hard. That is also something that the Twitter culture for many years put. There are lots of people that can express themselves or can formulate complex thoughts because the answer to those wouldn't have fit in on a Twitter site, on a tweet size. And so fast forward 10 years, 12 years, is it any wonder that people is unable to think properly and to elaborate on their thoughts and all that is considered or was considered important? It's real funny to me. That's why I stubbornly will still advocate and will tell the people I do art for, or the people interested in doing art and following some of my tutorials here, to stick to printable size and try to work as big as you can. That alone will give your work much more character than 80% of what you're exposed to. I mean, don't you see all the images, all the designs, most of the things are generally the same pose. Most of the designs have generally the same face. Most of the designs have generally the same body types because those are the ones that net more likes. I'm tired of that. I'm so tired of that. And since it's a place that I willingly said I won't take part in this, it doesn't matter how it makes me feel. The thing is to not fall for the same trends. If I know my work is not following trends, then I know my work differentiates itself from what is being routinely sold as popular, as trendy, as whatever. This is a shiny dude. I could add a couple of filters and see it as practically finished, but I wanna see a couple of things. In the end, I couldn't watch the the pickle tongue. Where is the pickle tongue? I can't remember if it was blue or if it was red. Peko Feather. Oh, this brings back so much memories. Ah, it seems it's red. Okay. Okay then. Back then I didn't know which color was either, so I just left it at that. If it's red, we'll use the same layer as the hair. I don't think I will be using that layer. See how the color is the same, but since we are using two levels of shades, it gives an impression that pops out from the image. Damn, I'm smoking a lot. Okay, what more do we need? We need to finish this belt. We need to finish a couple of stuff here. Yes, this was sort of golden. Perhaps it could work doing it differently. The shadow setup is the most important thing when working anime style. You could work your flats first. I usually tend to work the shadows first, the shadows and lights, and then color. But it's a good way to see if your image is anime enough to deactivate all the shadows and light layers and work for that. CMC, it seems it's too clear. These colors are too bright because we've been working with this. These layers are quite dark. Perhaps they might be a bit lighter. And I've added an additional layer that I've seen this done in Netflix animes. They use sort of this general uh, general multiply layer with a shadow with a gradient shadow there, and that is something I also seen in Netflix animes which were not present in the original animes, so I'm not sure I will be using that, but more than likely I will be using this one. Okay, what else? I have to paint those eyes. Let's see. Okay. Okay, we merged it. So we can put the eyes. Oh, we didn't finish with the sword yet. Crusaders in Ragnarok Online use Flambergst. Well, my Crusader did. There are still a couple of details here and there that could be worked. As I was saying, the way you use shadows in anime, you can have your flat colors first, as I said, but the way you use shadows to represent the material is what makes anime so slick. There has to be an evident difference, or at least a subtle difference between materials. Even though they are the same color, they have different qualities. I might have making a tutorial about that might be of use, so that's something I'll think about. I was thinking on doing tutorials on Saturday or Sunday for exercises mainly. What's good about streaming is that you say, okay, I will practice this. If you don't stream, or if you're not forced to stream, or you don't make the effort of streaming, you might let that impetu or that will to do something gone with any excuse, which is we can't say is anyone's fault. We got used to do that, to think that certain things take too much time and take too much effort and so much work, and that we have supposedly better things to do, and we end up watching Netflix, arguing on Twitter, and so on and so forth. Okay. Even if you don't use that modern anime layer, still looks quite good. Some details left. These thingies here, I wanted to be them sort of pieces of cloth, perhaps the same color as this one. Oh, the belt. Yes, let's do the Evisha. Can't remember. I will look for the word right now because this pisses me off. Evisha. Buckle. Or clasp. Or clip. Okay. Evisha de cinturón. Belt buckle. Okay. So I need to paint the belt buckle with the same color of the sword. I've discovered that I work mostly on a piece of ometer. I'm working on something, I think I'm doing well, and something pisses me off. And that's the way I curse myself to completion. Oh yes, the buckle belt. Damn. Yes, this is the sword. Crisis averted. All keys are working. Yes. Speaking of crisis and alarms and notifications, I have a ringtone folder there. I should send you guys to the group. Petition to rename Replicated Future to the Lemon Shooter Shooting Squad. I was sweating for a moment, calmed only by your philosophical musing by well, luckily the crisis was averted. Everything safe. Perfect. Hashtag trust the plan. I support this. Okay, so we have a 2 vote for the Lemon Shooting Squad. I mean, that's what defines, I think it defines our group the better. Where is it? Ah, this one. It's important to rename the folders when there are too many layers. It's not good that there are too many layers. This has to be the same color as this one. We could even make a server so we can have different channels, just one for us. You think so? I created a server, a free server. I will never pay for Discord Nitro or anything like that. To relate it to the channel, so we can discuss and send our works there, and either request for feedback or to make polls or things like that. But I think most things we are speaking and debating and discussing so far. I think the Lemon Shooting Squad is going so far so good for that. But I don't know. Like Adam Jensen, I never asked for this. What's happening here? Oh, this one's the one, okay. And if there's somebody calling me home, she's the one. Okay, we need to put another color in the belt. Let's do a darker shade of this orange here. This looks leatherish enough. Looking good, Krozz. I guess we should make the eyes the same color as the hair. I can't remember the eye color of my character. I corp I compartmentalize a lot, so I have a server for almost every social group I'm in. Yeah, I get it. It's something that one eventually gets used to with the chaos that Discord is. But whenever we need to talk, I guess uh, we can send each other a message to through our usual medium. But everything is fine. Everything goes. Anything goes for me. I have no issue whatsoever. It's not like I have many people in my Discord also. I think there may be less than 10 people because I use it for mostly people that contacted me for works or people I knew beforehand, which I played some games with, some co-op games, and some other people I perhaps spam once a year, sending updates about what I'm doing. For example, regarding this image, I had a friend from Chile. She was one of the first people I met there on Ragnarok Online, which was the first online game I played. So we had our comes and goes, and when I decided to redo this image, I say, hey, I should send Nixa a message. So 2 years after my last message to her, I sent her one with every link, the coffee links, the coffee links, the channel links, and so on. Since she plays Final Fantasy XIV, if she wants to ethically spam the chats with my work, that would be great. Okay, yeah, we should use some of these colors. Although the cave one wasn't a bad idea. Where is it? Here it is. Yes, but this is up here. I mean, that works fine too, yeah. Well, in a way, I'm relieved I was able to show you what I had in mind about the character creation, the randomizer or whatever. I think that will work. Trying to make a bigger size might be hard though. We might need some more space or do a landscape version of the character sheet. Once I finish with the big commission I have on my shoulders for the illustrations for a character for a book. Once I finish with that, uh, hopefully I can go full steam ahead with all the visual elements for the 20XX verse. To make the 20XX, well, rather 2XXX Bible. Okay, and the beak, I think the beak had some color. Where are you? You can see them from here. Yeah, it seems each artist made its own interpretation. Okay. Take the same crimson color from the hair. Supposedly the color stream should also reach the plumes, but I'm not sure about that. I want it to look like an edgy chocobo after all. Okay, what else? We have mostly, I think it's mostly, yes, this. Which color would this be? Well, let's do this a lighter shade of brown. So, did you finish with the work or what? Or still on it? What time is there right now? In here it's 3:24. 15:24. We're using this layer in screen to make it clearer without losing the details we have below, and to make the difference here between wood and rope. Rope should be actually the one that should be clearer, but I think this works as well. Where is it? I don't know where the brown is. Where are you, brown? I did it all over. Okay. This should be a darker brown to give the impression that's going below here. There. Let's use this brown for this leather thingy here. Customers are steadily spaced today. What does that mean? Too much customers, or like, sort of a machine gun customer? One after the next. Oh, they are spamming. Well, that's a good thing, right? Or you just, regardless of the number of clients, you get paid the same price. How's the deal? No, the question will be, how would the deal be, rather? Hey, what's wrong with you? I chose this. Why is this an overlay? I don't understand. It may have been an overlay from a previous... Oh, it looks too bright, too different here. Let's pick the color again. There. Almost there. We need to set this thingy up here. Haven't chosen a color yet. It's not my usual store, so I prefer a slow day here so I can try. Oh, I see. It seems it's Saturday for everybody, so then they say, okay. I think it must be a plot. All clients must have called each other. They must have a WhatsApp group or a Signal group and say, okay, now is the time. We will enter 15 minutes at a time. It's a conspiracy, man, I tell you. Okay. I'm going back and forth to the same. I had to do this. Not deciding if a color is... whatever. I will go with... I will go with gray 50%, which never disappoints. And we'll take it from there. Must be the secret plot to make sure I... You drawing on paper or drawing digitally? Digital. Oh, lucky you. You are using Krita, right? Perhaps we should have used these colors. What does the original thing say? Yeah, it's those colors. I like this orange. Yeah, cool. Yeah, sticking to Krita might be the best idea, or for the way you're working and the style you want to get good at. Stick to Krita, is my advice. Switching to Photoshop or any other software later will be far easier if you get used to Krita. Will be much easier, trust me. Alright. So it's this could also work. Let's check with shadows. Yeah, it's pretty much in the back. Let's try doing some general coloring. Another easy way to get an anime look is to have your layer of multiply and color. This just coloring the shadow gives already since we've worked on the shadows with a sharp approach, it's easier to make it look anime. We have two levels of shadows here, so let's say we put this one here and we color the other one, the superficially. We can play with this color to get real interesting things. And this is just the first part. This might work. This might work because it takes the greens that sort of makes sense to the background. Of course, this background is not final. This might just work. Let's leave it at gray. For the time being, that works as well. Perhaps a bit of things here or other couple of stuff to make it stand out. Let's compare with the original. Yeah. Yeah, perhaps these metal things here I should recolor, but in the original character design this is all from the same color. Oh, the whites. Yeah. Gotta work out a couple of things, but this works. Go highlight. Usually the detail in anime is dictated by shadows. You can see the most expressive lines aren't the ones illustrated, but are conveyed mostly, for the most part, in classic anime. Most of the work is done by the layers. That's what suggests movement. This looks pretty good, if I can say so myself, which I shouldn't. We have to work on the transparency because, for example, this part of the sword works better on 50% rather than on 100, but we will work on 100. Because that will make easier to work on the shapes. This shouldn't have so many lines. I overdid myself in this part. This should be far simpler. But well. This, of course. We could also use the highlight to suggest the extra plane here. We could follow this here, which has to be cleaned because this is eating up at the depth there. These are very subtle things that are not required. Focusing on getting a cleaner image may be more worthy than those little details there. Why? There. There we have it. I'm owing a lot of waifus, but I was thinking that perhaps it's time to make Samus. Based on the conversation we had the other day, I have sort of an idea of my ideal Samus. Canonically, I would put her in the pre-zero mission. It should have to be post Super Metroid for sure. Sticking to she's a big gal, like 1 meter and 90, I think. It's really tall. thanks to the Chozo blood. But I like the blonde hair and the style of Metroid Zero Mission. The only thing that game didn't do well to me is Zero Suit Samus. That sort of was a strike against what made Samus so cool and unique. So I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. As usual, I will mash up a top 5 once I can get ahead of once I finish Lenneth, once I finish Alia, once I finish Elf. It's a lot. And more than likely before the end of the year I have it my way and do a Jill Valentine too, because it's sort of some part of me is asking for it. Is demanding it. Yeah, there we go. Let's work a bit on the background. This should be really easy. Let's duplicate everything. This is our character, so we will copy this layer. We will duplicate the background layer in case we make a mistake. Come here. Alright. I like it. Perhaps it's a bit too dark, but I like it overall. This makes it even darker. Let's dispose of this. The only layer I need, this one. Let's dispose of this layer as well. It doesn't get purer than this. Okay, we have, let's have all the separate layers for shadows. Let's trick this one here. This helps a lot. God damn it. Problem. We should work this shadow here because it might need to be lighter. No, not lighter. Better defined. We have mods for that. I put that because it says that on Coffee that if you put it each 90 minutes, it sort of well, advertises, put the links to the coffee page, but to me it's useful because well, it's like a sort of like a checkpoint. So okay, we've hit the 90-minute mark with the stream. It's sort of like the Pomodoro technique I recommended in Friday's post, which I realized today I forgot to link to. So I edited the post today and added Pomodoro Tracker and Buffer, which are two free apps I use for time management and handling those things that are annoying and take a lot of time. Okay. For the most part, I like it. Perhaps a couple of corrections, but so far I like it. Let's see if we make this a bit clearer. Yeah. Yes, I fucking like it. Okay, we have this duplicated. We've changed a couple of colors here and there. Let's merge. Let's see what do we do with this layer. I think this is closer to the spirit of the original image. Yeah. We want to work the background really quickly. It shouldn't take much. I would like to clean these lines though. So, let's merge. Oh, this also works. I forgot about this. Yes, we could. Let's duplicate this layer. Okay, why the fuck not? And we could use one single color. This looks fantastic. Now that I see it, when the lines are clearer, this is a good experiment to get that classy vibe. Let's see if we use a single color. This also works really well for anime style images. Of course, this is not the best selection or the best choice, but proves me point. And we're using it on multiply, so we can get a feel for the colors below. Perhaps we will need a couple of details. Well, I had the lights, I had the lines, I had the lights, I had the lines, I had the shades, I had the flats. This is another good way to see if the composition works. We have the shadows there. Let's put it on normal. Yeah, somehow misses up a bit of the charm, but it works on multiply. It works well on multiply. Yes, I like this. Let's see if we make shadows a bit lighter, if it helps our image. Perhaps too shiny. No, we're going with the plan. We will merge this. I should save that shadow layer. just in case. We have two options here. Well, I have to finish with the highlights to define the shapes, make a couple of shines here and there, and then deleting them in order to for the images to get a sort of the illusion of depth. You're talking away. Say after me, it's much better to feel safe than sorry. Take on me, take on me, take me out. Deleting here, highlighting here. The highlights helps us to further determine or detailing the shape. This is the substitute of too many lines. I've made too many lines, but regardless, we've got the similar effect, we got the effect we wanted. That's what it counts. This doesn't look too good. The other details are good. Let's do the buckle shine here. Since we've merged everything, now if we go to make a correction, we take the color we need and we don't have to worry about the layers. You can do this once everything is merged. We might need an extra shadow here, or perhaps rather than a shadow, something like this, without going overboard. We don't want too much details, and we have to fix this. Let's make this line here thinner. Does it work even thinner? Let's see the rhythm. It could go. I try to obscure this part here with highlights. But it's almost imperceptible. Let's erase, put in 50%, 30%. 30% is good. we take this yellow and work over these little things here. Alright, now what I wanted to do here, let's duplicate this again, let's merge everything. No, let's duplicate, let's go to screen, filter blur, Gaussian blur. Okay, to the background. the same for the shades. Oops. There's nothing more anime than the grass and the tree colors. Sort of. I would like to see the lines below them. There. Yes. We need another green, but that's the idea. Or perhaps that green might work. Let's lower the opacity a bit. Yeah, I like that. Let's do some shadow design here. First work on the design shapes, designing the shadow shapes. What are they suggesting? Not level of detail yet. Is as if configured in a modern game on minimum settings. Focus on the biggest elements before jumping to little details. Try to have that in mind. To avoid the usual waste of time that I fall into all the time. See how much different it looks. We're working with the basic layer. We've done everything with the basic layer. With the basic brush, I mean. If you wanna make your works look like anime pieces, it's important to use the minimum amount of effects and brushes as possible. Stick to the basics. Imagine you're doing this by freehand over a cell shade. That is a good mindset for both. Realizing how many exciting tools and how the most processes of composition have been super optimized, and modern software has everything we need. Imagine people doing cartoons in the early 20th century. They would have killed to have something like Photoshop and stuff. they needed a lot of tools and a lot of different methods to imitate life and motion. And nowadays we having the opposite problem. We have too much tools, and that gets us confused because we want to use everything, and that gets us confused and don't know where to go back and forth and stuff. So the best that one could do is to work on the basic tools. Unless of course you're looking to get a particular effect. Like for example I do with Medibank Drum Paint, which I use it because it looks like ink done by hand, which is the effect I usually look for when using Medibank. I actually discovered that after my disastrous first attempt at digital art I was using so many different tools. Yes, that's what happens because it's imagine you, I don't know, you are super hungry, right, and go to a banquet, and they put you, I don't know, 4 different plates of different sizes, and put all different forks and knives and spoons and sporks, and you have all of that, and you're looking everywhere, and you assume everyone is going to use every single utensil, and they say, hey, you're hungry, so with a fork you should be, and a plate you should be all right, and when in doubt use your hands. Something like that. When we have a lot of choice, you are likely easier to fall on the paralysis by analysis stage of our brain. One of the reasons that, well, having to choose takes us, saps our willpower, let's say, because we are, let's say, the choice power, CP. We lose CP each time we are going back and forth thinking what tool to use or what not to use. That's why it's important to master the basic tools, because in case you go to a friend's house or to another person's house and you have the files on the cloud, and that person has, I don't know, the pen tablet and the software, you can just, perhaps he or she doesn't have the tools you've been using, but you could sit down on any version, for example, of Photoshop, um, and work and use 100% of your output without having to depend on this tool or that tool. Basically, in a super fast nutshell, that's more or less, that's why I advocate for using the basic tools. You should pick something to sketch. You could size up and down, make both of a bigger and smaller size. You should need a color picker to get your color palette. I like the way you treat colors. I think you are skilled in that. If your attempts of art had been frustrating from a illustration standpoint, I think your colors are good. So you may consider working with a look for persona, for the personas designs, which are super anime and have a strong base of black, but you can easily distinguish all of the characters with just with the colors alone, and you have a knack for choosing colors, and they look quite well, not too saturated, not too out of place, so that might be your strength. So far, for choosing colors, you're good to go. You only need a color picker to that. Try using as less tools as possible so you can go free with that. If you have something to sketch, if you have something to ink, and you then use the line functions to clean up or to enhance or to bump certain parts, such as, for example, I don't know, cheeks or hair bangs, or perhaps make the eye lines a bit thicker to make it bump up and stuff. You will check. You will discover a lot of that in the works of Shigenori Soejima, which is the character designer of the Persona series, and Catherine too. I don't like the game. I think the game is stupid, but I love the character designs of Catherine. I love the works in general of Shigenori Soejima. That guy is too good. Oh, lost it for a second there. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. Now we use a lot, at most like 4 or 5 tools. Yes, yes. Try to stick to that and try to master those. Uh, After all, drawing is like doing swordsmanship. You have to master the basic stances first with those swords you feel more familiar with, and if your style is a classic longsword, just try the basic stances of that, which will be the equivalent of mastering your basic 4 or 5 tools, and go full speed ahead with that. I was talking about willpower, yes, decision paralysis by analysis, and all of it. That's why when I have to pick the colors for my works, I feel sometimes so drained, and it's so annoying to me because my brain is trying to choose, okay, this color or that color, this color or that color, and that also saps willpower. So it's important to take that into account. Well, I think this background more or less, yes, this here. Let's do a couple more of these to see if we can round up. I have a lot to work on, but I wanted to finish this stream, which I should have done yesterday. Gotta get that illustration done. I asked Saji if he wanted me to do a vertical version or a landscape. For 2 characters, perhaps landscape would have been the better choice, but he wanted me to go vertical, so well, vertical it will be. Yeah, actually this should be the right thing. Yes, this was exactly what was I trying to do 15 years ago. Perhaps it's too shiny. Let's see what can we do about that. That looks far better. Hold your horses. You. Damn. I'm tempted to make an additional level of detail, but no. But that was a hand slap. Sketch pencil brush, water tool, and straight pen. Yeah, water tool. Water tool, what is like watercolor? Agree, I'm also a Persona fan, man. 50% easily. 50% of Persona's charm is the character design is super slick. There are no equivalents. You know at a glance it's a Persona game. You don't even need to see the personas. You know it's a Shigenori Soejima work. If that's not style, I don't know what is. 50-inch German longsword, all day, every day. Okay. He asked me about it and I was thinking, well, depends on what's going on in the scene, but I just flipped a coin and said, well, okay, I'll take that. The coin flip generally is aligned with the universe's wishes, so it's all good. The water tool soften edges and burst color. What was the a blender? It's used for color blending, which might be perhaps the weakest. In the case of Photoshop, it's the weakest of its features. Is the way Photoshop blends colors. Paint tool side kicks Photoshop's ass incredibly. I use the Copic markers there, and the color blending options are fantastic. But yeah, I take the water. The water tool must be for blending. I don't know if I could use Final Fantasy XII music, but I want to listen to the Esper boss battle theme. I generally use both battle themes looped in order to sort of well, listening to the same song on repeat might look like annoying and boring, but it also is really useful to work in long stretches. I use that a lot. I use an extended version of Filing Shrine from Dark Souls 1 to write, to compose the coffee posts, and generally use Majula's song, an extended version, for writing in Spanish. I got just used to that. God damn it. What was the name? Esper. Oh, Adramelech rocks. Let's put this on repeat. How I love Final Fantasy XII. But this is the remaster version. No, I need the soundtrack version. It has to be this one. Let's see. There are 3 versions. I think this is my version. This is the perfect boss battle, the perfect song battle for Final Fantasy. This sound coming out from a PS2, man. It's impossible to explain to the young ones. Go to the loop. When we got CD media and were able to hear actual musical recordings in games, it was life-changing. Tell me about it. I couldn't believe that that was even possible. I think that was the great victory of the 32-bit generation. The fact to be able to access Redbook CD audio quality. That's what makes Castlevania Symphony of the Night it's a great game. It's a great game, but what makes it perennial to me, it's the soundtrack. Of course, it's a Castlevania. 50% of Castlevania, are their soundtrack. What's happening here? If I'm picking the right color, what's happening here? What's wild about that soundtrack is that Yamane uses synthesizers for the majority of it. Yeah, well, Michiru Yamane, she made the soundtrack for Rondo of Blood as well. So I think she had all of the mastery there. I don't know if she also was responsible of making the Castlevania Bloodlines, the Sega Genesis version music as well. I can't remember. Yeah, Michiru Yamane and Yoko Shimomura and Yoko Kano are my three top Japanese composers. The three of them are women. What Yoko Shimomura has done with Parasite Eve and to a lesser extent to Legend of Mana has a great soundtrack. It's not consistent, but it's great. It's emotional. It's catchy. Even it has that fantasy tale vibe that the Legend of Mana accomplished with the art as well. That's a great game. Legend of Mana is a great game to revisit. Yeah, I like it. Yes, this is pretty much ready. Let's see if we do something about this. Well, Koji Kondo is the master. I think Koji Kondo is at the same level of Nobuo Uematsu. They did so much. They did so much with so little that it's impossible to believe, and I also think it's impossible to replicate. Okay, back to Hitoshi Sakimoto. No, it all comes down to how you were exposed to those composers. I think the one that more than likely either Koji Kondo or Nobuo Uematsu are the first composers we all listen to. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of Nobuo Uematsu. The fact that He's my kind of guy. He was a self-taught man. I admire a lot the self-taught people, and perhaps Nobuo Uematsu is the clearest example of what you can, how huge you can get by working your by working on your craft instead of just studying it. Another great one is, well, Yuzo Koshiro. The Mega Drive music wouldn't have been the same without his genius. Yuzo Koshiro is a great composer. He knew the inside outs of the Mega Drive music chip, so he was able to make it sound like nobody else. And the same for Sega, for what will be the Sonic team. Sonic games sounded completely different to any other games on the Genesis library, and that's no accident. But for example, can you name, for example, the uh, composers from Resident Evil, or music made by composers from Resident Evil on somewhere else or some other game? I know Masami Ueda is the one responsible for, I don't know, Resident Evil 4 music is sort of classic, along with the save room music and the end of Resident Evil 2 Scenario B. I think those are the most notorious songs. But if you had to listen to say, okay, I will buy a CD, a music CD of a Japanese artist, I would buy Michiro Yamane, I would buy Yoko Kanno, and I would buy Yoko Shimomura. Yoko Kanno made mostly anime. Uh, you have, well, Cowboy Bebop is the perfect example. It's more than enough. 7 CDs of pure music. I remember when I was in my teens, we got together with our role-playing game friends and put music in parties, and people say, "Hey, which artist is that? That's from an anime." I don't believe you. I'm telling you, that's from an anime. It's music from Cowboy Bebop. And what is Cowboy Bebop? Nobody knew back then. Ah, but Koji Kondo is unforgettable. Every tune he did became a classic. That's that has to account for something. It's a legend and an inspiration for many musics across many generations as well. That's talent for you. Yes, I think this is it. Perhaps we might do a little trick for the lights. What if we do this a bit blue? No black and white. I can't put Yoko Kanno music without YouTube muting me. So yeah, this could work. Yes, this could perfectly work. Let's reduce it a bit. Okay. do some. Hey, multiply. Yes. I believe he composed Proof of a Hero. Ah, I forget there's another side of Capcom I never knew of, so perhaps I shouldn't speak lightly, but I don't know. You tell to me Nobuo Uematsu and I understand perfectly, and I think you could name Nobuo Uematsu, but you say okay Masami Ueda. Who? It's hard not to sort of link it with Resident Evil, right? Well, you could say the same about Nobuo Uematsu, but I think he has more mainstream appeal. Uh, in the same way, everything that Koji Kondo writes becomes an instant classic. The music for Zelda is, my God, man. No, too big. Let's leave it at that. Okay, let's merge this. Mm, here. See, we duplicate this. We put it on. That's the anime glow. Let's leave a bit there. It gives us that soft look, sort of the light occlusion.